Having friends enriches our lives, bringing joy, support, and companionship. However, some of us may find ourselves without close friends and wonder why. In exploring the reasons we have no friends, we gain insights into our social dynamics and how we can cultivate meaningful connections. Friendship is a fundamental aspect of human experience, yet it's not always easy to form and maintain these bonds. Sometimes, despite our efforts, we find ourselves feeling isolated or disconnected from others. By examining the factors that contribute to our lack of friends, we can take proactive steps to address them and build fulfilling relationships. Let's explore some common reasons why we might struggle to find or maintain friendships and discover ways to foster meaningful connections in our lives. Subscribe to our channel for more insights on building meaningful relationships and fostering connections in your life. Join our community as we explore strategies to enrich our lives. From Buddha's teachings to modern psychology, various insights shed light on the complexities of human relationships and the barriers that may hinder friendship. Let's see in deeper one. Attachments and expectations. Buddha taught that our attachments and expectations can lead to suffering. If we expect too much from our friends or are too attached to specific outcomes, it can create difficulties in relationships. Attachments and expectations are like heavy burdens that we carry in our hearts. Buddha, a wise teacher from long ago, shared valuable insights about how these burdens can cause us suffering in our relationships and lives. Imagine you have a favorite toy. You love it so much that you never want to let it go. This feeling of not wanting to let go is an attachment. Attachments can be to people, things, or even ideas. When we become too attached, we start depending on them for our happiness. But what happens if the toy breaks or gets lost? We feel sad and disappointed because we placed so much importance on it. Similarly, expectations are like little rules we make in our minds about how things should be. For example, you might expect your friends to always agree with you or to spend all their time with you. But what if your friend wants to spend time with someone else or disagrees with you? You might feel upset or frustrated because things didn't go as you expected. Buddha understood that attachments and expectations could bring pain and suffering. He taught that when we expect too much from our friends or become too attached to specific outcomes, it can lead to problems in our relationships. When we expect our friends to act in a certain way or fulfill our desires, we set ourselves up for disappointment. If they don't meet our expectations, we feel let down and upset. Attachments and expectations can make us try to control everything around us. We want things to go our way, and when they don't, we feel frustrated and powerless. Relying too much on others for our happiness can create dependency. We become afraid of losing what we're attached to, and this fear keeps us from experiencing true freedom. Unmet expectations can lead to conflicts and misunderstandings in relationships. When others don't meet our expectations, we might blame them or feel resentful, causing tension between us. Buddha encouraged us to let go of attachments and expectations to find true peace and happiness. Instead of depending on external things or outcomes for our well-being, he taught us to cultivate inner peace and contentment. By practicing mindfulness and letting go of our attachments and expectations, we can free ourselves from suffering and live more harmoniously with others. 2. Judgment and criticism. Buddha emphasized avoiding harsh judgment and criticism. If we tend to judge others harshly or criticize them, it can drive people away, making it challenging to form friendships. Imagine you're in a playground with many children playing different games. Each child is unique, with their own strengths and weaknesses. Some children are good at running, others at climbing, and some at swinging. Just like the children in the playground, people in the world are different too. They have different talents, beliefs, and ways of doing things. Now, imagine if one of the children starts pointing fingers at others and saying, "You're not good at running," or "You're not good at climbing." How do you think the other children would feel? They might feel sad, ashamed, or angry. They might even stop playing and go away. This is similar to what happens when we judge or criticize others. When we judge someone, it means we form opinions about them based on what we see or hear. For example, if someone wears different clothes or speaks a different language, we might judge them without knowing anything about them. Criticism is when we express disapproval or find fault with someone or something. For instance, if we tell someone, "You're not doing it right," or "You're not good enough," it can hurt their feelings and make them feel bad about themselves. Buddha, a wise teacher, taught us that judging and criticizing others can cause harm and make it difficult to build friendships and relationships. When we judge or criticize others, it hurts their feelings. Just like the children in the playground, people feel sad or upset when others say unkind things about them. Judging or criticizing others creates distance between people. Instead of feeling connected and supported, people might feel isolated and alone. When we judge or criticize others, it damages trust. People may feel hesitant to open up or be themselves around us because they fear being judged or criticized. Judging or criticizing others prevents us from understanding them. We only see what's on the surface and miss out on the opportunity to learn from their unique perspectives and experiences. Buddha encouraged us to practice kindness, compassion, and understanding instead of judgment and criticism. He taught that everyone deserves respect and acceptance, regardless of their differences. By treating others with kindness and refraining from harsh judgments and criticisms, we create a more inclusive and supportive environment where friendships can flourish. 3. Lack of compassion. Buddha spoke about the importance of compassion. If we lack compassion for others and don't understand their struggles, it might be challenging to connect with them on a deeper level. Now imagine if everyone chose to ignore the person in need. The world would feel cold and lonely, wouldn't it? That's because compassion is like a warm blanket that wraps around us, making us feel cared for and understood. Compassion is the ability to feel sympathy and concern for the suffering of others. It's about putting yourself in someone else's shoes and offering support and kindness, even when it's not convenient. Buddha, a wise teacher, emphasized the importance of compassion in our lives. When we lack compassion, we miss opportunities to connect with others on a deeper level. Instead of reaching out and offering support, we may distance ourselves from people who are struggling. Lack of compassion creates barriers between people. Instead of fostering understanding and empathy, it builds walls that separate us from one another. When we lack compassion, we may feel isolated and alone. We miss out on the warmth and companionship that comes from connecting with others in meaningful ways. People are more likely to trust and confide in those who show compassion and empathy. When we lack compassion, we may struggle to build trusting relationships with others. Ultimately, lack of compassion contributes to the suffering of others. It leaves people feeling unheard, unseen, and unloved, which can have devastating effects on their well-being. Buddha taught that compassion is essential for creating a more harmonious and compassionate world. He encouraged his followers to cultivate compassion through acts of kindness, empathy, and understanding. By practicing compassion in our daily lives, we can create a ripple effect of kindness and make the world a more compassionate and caring place for everyone. 4. Selfishness and greed. Buddha discouraged selfishness and greed. If we're primarily focused on our own needs and desires without considering others, it can hinder the development of genuine friendships. Selfishness is when we only think about ourselves and don't consider the needs or feelings of others. Greed is similar to selfishness, but even stronger. It's when we always want more and more without being satisfied with what we already have. It's like having a toy and wanting every other toy in the store too, even if we don't need them. Buddha, a wise teacher, taught us that selfishness and greed can cause problems, especially when it comes to making friends. When we're selfish, we don't like to share what we have with others. We keep everything for ourselves, which can make others feel left out and unimportant. Friends trust each other to be fair and considerate, but when we're selfish, we break that trust because we only care about ourselves and don't think about how our actions affect others. Selfishness creates distance between people. Instead of feeling close and connected, friends may feel distant and unimportant because they know we only care about ourselves. When we're greedy, we always want more, even if it means taking things away from others. This can lead to resentment and hurt feelings among friends as they see us putting our own desires above their needs. Selfishness and greed can lead to conflict and arguments among friends. People may feel upset or angry when they see us being selfish or greedy, which can strain relationships and make it hard to get along. Buddha taught that true happiness comes from being generous and thinking about others, not just ourselves. He encouraged his followers to practice kindness and sharing, even when it's hard. By being less selfish and greedy, we can build stronger and more meaningful friendships based on trust, generosity, and consideration for others. And that's the key to a happier and more fulfilling life, according to Buddha's teachings. 5. Negative speech. Buddha advised against using harmful speech. If we often engage in negative or hurtful communication, it can repel potential friends and create a barrier to meaningful connections. Imagine you have a friend, and you say mean things to them, like calling them names or spreading rumors about them. That's negative speech. Negative speech is when we use words that hurt or harm others. It's like throwing stones with our words, causing pain and sadness instead of bringing happiness and joy. Buddha, a wise teacher, taught us about the power of speech and how our words can affect others. Negative speech can hurt people's feelings and make them feel sad or upset. If we say mean things to others, they won't want to be our friends because they'll worry we'll hurt them again. Friends trust each other to be kind and supportive, but when we use negative speech, we break that trust because our words don't show care or concern for others. Negative speech can lead to arguments and fights among friends. If we say hurtful things to each other, it can create tension and make it hard to get along. Using negative speech damages relationships because it creates a barrier to open and honest communication. Friends may feel afraid to talk to us if they worry we'll say something hurtful. People remember what we say, especially if it's mean or hurtful. If we have a reputation for using negative speech, others may not want to be around us because they'll worry we'll say something unkind about them too. Buddha taught that our words have power and that we should use them wisely. Instead of using negative speech, he encouraged his followers to speak kindly and respectfully to others. By using positive and uplifting words, we can build strong and healthy friendships based on trust, respect, and understanding. And that's the key to creating meaningful connections and finding happiness in our relationships, according to Buddha's teachings. 6. Lack of mindfulness. Buddha stressed the practice of mindfulness. If we're not fully present in our interactions, it can lead to misunderstandings and hinder the development of authentic friendships. Mindfulness means being fully present in the moment, paying attention to what's happening around you and inside you. It's like being in tune with your thoughts, feelings, and surroundings. Buddha, a wise teacher, talked about the importance of mindfulness in our daily lives. When we're not mindful, we might misunderstand what others are saying or doing. We might miss important cues or signals, leading to confusion and miscommunication. Without mindfulness, we might respond to others in a way that's not sensitive or caring. We might say or do things that hurt their feelings without even realizing it. Mindfulness helps us connect with others on a deeper level. When we're not fully present, it's hard to truly understand and empathize with our friends' experiences and emotions. Lack of mindfulness can lead to distracted conversations where we're not fully engaged or interested in what our friends are saying. This can make them feel unimportant or ignored. When we're not mindful, we might miss opportunities to connect with others and build meaningful friendships. We might overlook chances to show kindness, support, or appreciation. Buddha taught that mindfulness is essential for living a fulfilling and compassionate life. By practicing mindfulness in our interactions with others, we can deepen our connections, foster understanding, and cultivate genuine friendships based on mutual respect and care. So, let's remember to be mindful in our daily lives, paying attention to the present moment and cherishing the connections we share with others. That way, we can create lasting bonds of friendship that bring joy and fulfillment to our lives, just as Buddha envisioned. 7. Failure to understand impermanence. Buddha taught about the impermanence of all things. If we fail to understand that relationships evolve and change, we might struggle with the natural ebb and flow of friendships. Imagine you have a favorite toy that you love to play with every day. You enjoy it so much that you want it to stay with you forever. But one day the toy breaks, and you feel sad because you thought it would last forever. That's what happens when we fail to understand impermanence. Impermanence means that nothing lasts forever. Things change, people change, and even our feelings change over time. Buddha, a wise teacher, talked about impermanence and how it affects our lives, including our friendships. Here's why failure to understand impermanence can make it hard to maintain friendships. Sometimes we expect our friendships to last forever, just like we expected our favorite toy to never break. But friendships, like everything else, are subject to change. People grow, circumstances change, and friendships evolve over time. When we cling to the idea of permanence in friendships, we might fear losing those connections. We become afraid of change and resist letting go, even when it's necessary for growth and development. Friendships, like seasons, go through different phases. Sometimes friends move away, change schools, or develop new interests. If we struggle to accept these changes, we might resist the natural flow of friendship, leading to tension and misunderstandings. Failure to understand impermanence can lead to unrealistic expectations in friendships. We might expect our friends to always be available, always agree with us, or never change their preferences. When reality doesn't match our expectations, it can lead to disappointment and conflict. Understanding impermanence allows us to embrace change and appreciate each moment with our friends. It opens up opportunities for growth, new experiences, and deeper connections. Without this understanding, we might miss out on valuable lessons and experiences. Buddha taught that impermanence is a fundamental aspect of life. Instead of resisting change, we can learn to flow with it, embracing the natural rhythm of existence. So let's remember that friendships, like everything else, are impermanent. Instead of clinging to the past or fearing the future, let's cherish each moment we share with our friends and embrace the beauty of change and growth along the way. 8. Inability to forgive. Buddha spoke about the power of forgiveness. If we hold on to grudges and find it difficult to forgive, it can strain relationships and result in a lack of friends. Forgiveness means letting go of anger and resentment towards someone who has hurt us, just like letting go of the broken toy incident with your friend. Buddha, a wise teacher, talked about forgiveness and how it can affect our relationships and friendships. Inability to forgive can make it hard to have friends. When we can't forgive someone, we hold on to feelings of anger, resentment, and bitterness. These negative emotions weigh us down and affect how we interact with others. People might sense our hostility, making them hesitant to become friends with us. Inability to forgive builds walls between us and others. It creates barriers that prevent meaningful connections from forming. Friends may feel hesitant to approach us or share their feelings, fearing our judgment or anger. Forgiveness is a cornerstone of trust in relationships. If we struggle to forgive, it signals to others that we may not trust them or believe in their ability to change. This lack of trust can erode friendships and make it challenging to form new ones. Holding on to grudges prevents personal growth and healing. It keeps us stuck in the past, replaying painful memories and preventing us from moving forward. Friends may find it hard to connect with us emotionally if they sense that we're carrying unresolved baggage. Inability to forgive robs us of opportunities to deepen our relationships. Forgiveness fosters understanding, empathy, and compassion, strengthening the bonds of friendship. Without it, we miss out on the joy and fulfillment that comes from genuine connections with others. Buddha taught that forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves. It liberates us from the burden of anger and resentment, allowing us to experience peace and freedom in our hearts. By cultivating forgiveness in our lives, we create space for love, compassion, and meaningful friendships to blossom. So let's remember the power of forgiveness in our friendships. Instead of holding on to grudges, let's practice forgiveness as a way to heal and grow. By letting go of past hurts and embracing forgiveness, we open our hearts to deeper connections and richer experiences with those around us. By reflecting on these teachings and cultivating qualities like compassion, mindfulness, and forgiveness, we can improve our ability to form and maintain meaningful friendships. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, subscribe, like, and share with your friends. Peace be with you and stay positive.